Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, today we explore Namibia's critical intersection of water, energy and food resources in the face of uncertainty. Now, the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung proudly presents a book titled Namibia's Water, Energy, Food Nexus, National Development in Uncertain Times, a collaborative endeavor with 3 esteemed authors. This comprehensive work delves into the complex challenges and opportunities inherent in managing these vital resources and their profound impact on Namibia's sustainable development journey. Joining us now with more is the director of the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung in Namibia, Angola, Natalie Rassman. Very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Natalie.
Very good evening, and thank you for having me here today and to talk a bit about the last published book.
Absolutely. Looks quite amazing just from here looking at it. And I just want to perhaps just start off by asking you what what actually prompted the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung initiative to support the publication of this book on Namibia's water, energy, food nexus.
Let me tell you first that it was already a project that we planned long ago. Yeah. So it took about 1.5 years till it got published. First of all, we as Konrad Adenauer Foundation, we promote democracy, rule of law and justice, and more likely also to say participative democracy. And for this, we rely on a citizenship that are well informed. And this is one way how to inform the public about relevant matters that affect all our lives here in Namibia. And that's the first thing, to provide qualified information among the citizenship. Secondly, because this topic is really relevant: food, water and energy. I mean, these are the basic for development as well. Yeah. And facing that Namibia is a vast country, semi-arid country, the issue of water is really so paramount. So that's why we have to deal with it. And it's the first publication where we are looking at it in a balanced way. We are looking at it not as a separate pillar, but all together in its interconnectivity, interplay and dependency on each other.
Very well. And you just mentioned that, of course, the organization, the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, is about democracy. But looking at the goals, the broader goals that the organization is trying to achieve, how do those goals align with this publication that of course, the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung has had in plan to, of course, come about with this book? And how do those goals align?
First of all, we are also very much interested to support sustainable development in the country. And I think it's not difficult to understand that for sustainable development, one needs security in water, food and energy. And this is not the case at the moment. I mean, I just came back last week from the south, from the ROUNDUP region, having also a look at the ROUNDUP dam. Well, I mean, we are at the end of the rainy season. It's just 11% water in it. So water security is definitely an issue. Food security, I mean, it's not a secret. Every day in the newspaper we can pick up about 700,000 Namibians are lack of food. So food security is something that must keep us busy. And also electricity. And we have beautiful plans, and we would like also to see a development in the country, but without this security, without stable electricity that do not only depend on the neighboring countries, but same with food security. We do need a health workforce. And water, of course, for sure, we need green hydrogen, we need water for green hydrogen as well. So we need all these components in a secure manner. That's why it's important to look at it and to provide data and to understand the necessity in security, also to have a kind of awareness raising among it, knowing that climate change is not just something theoretically, it's happening. And as we experience within the drought, within the last years, so we have to address water, food and energy security when we talk about sustainable development in the country.
Very well. Talk to us about how the whole idea of this publication just came about, in terms of how long it took, the Adenauer Stiftung Foundation and, of course, all the stakeholders that are part of this initiative. How long did it take you for this book to be brought to life now, and who are some of the stakeholders who also took part in bringing up this book and bringing it to life?
Yeah, it's authored by Detlev von Oertzen, Dr. Martin Schneider, and Piet Heyns. Three of them are experts in its field, are engineers and consultant, and it's come up from an idea because, as I said in the beginning, there is no really a publication which deals with all these three elements, fundamental resources, in the same publication. And it took about 2 years from the idea up to the printing. Of course, it's a long way to get there. Consultation needs to be done, and but at the end, I think it's been published on the right time, where we are talking about industrialization, where we are talking about green hydrogen, where we are talking the need for renewable energy, and also the growing population. I mean, we just had the last census. We are now about 3 million inhabitants. For sure, we need more water, food, and also energy security. So I think it's now the high time to talk about the content of the book.
Very much so. How do you plan to disseminate the findings and recommendations of this book, to relevant stakeholders and decision makers of the country? Because, I mean, like you just mentioned, this is going to be one that's needed at high level of governing this country. But from the findings now that have been, of course, mentioned in the book, how does the foundation then, get to leap these findings onto, governing bodies of the country?
Well, that's a very good question. I mean, there are a lot of findings and also recommendation in the books, also addressing to the institutions, to the ministries. One is, for instance, that we need more training and also to promote SMEs, more private sector in securing these three aspects, and also to look at it as a source for employment. If we address these three issues, we might also create employment in this sector. This is very, very important. Also to take the youth with. Of course, we do need the media, for instance, and I'm happy to be at the NBC today to promote the book. That's one way how to distribute and the content and the book itself. Of course, it needs to be read, otherwise you will not get to the content. We will take it to the region, of course. We will distribute it among schools, also among regional council. And let me just mention that just today it was also presented to the State House. One of our authors handed it to His Excellency President Bumba. So this just to show how it is accepted, and of course it's among all of us. It's on our website, since we also in time of limited resources, and we would like to be environmental friendly. So we also try to distribute it also in an online manner, not just print and paper. Absolutely.
Knowing that the world has now moved to a digital space, of course it will also be a very, very big requirement that it also be seen on the digital platform. So moving on, are there any upcoming projects or initiatives that the Adenauer Foundation is also, of course, looking into, not only on sustainable development, but even other matters that, of course, are concerning the government, not only government, but of course the normal Namibian who's on the street?
Well, we are tackling on all issues which is relevant for Namibia, especially for its society and which has an impact on the living condition of all Namibians. So our project is mainly about capacity building in all levels, starting with the parliament, going down to the civil society. So we have a strong interest in strong institutions, informed citizenship, but also strong institutions. That's why we are empowering civil society organizations that they can fulfill their mandate as a watchdog, as a gap filler in the area where there is a need. And of course, we try to empower SMEs as well with financial literacy, with digital literacy. So it's quite broad. We also have a scholarship program, for instance, to uplift the academic level, and so it's quite broad what we are doing, and everything speaks to democracy and sustainable development, I would say so.
All right. And still on the book, is it going to be also published in other languages as well, or is it only available in English at the moment?
At the moment, it's just available in English, but we are looking at it also to translate it to the different languages here in Namibia. But that depends also on the on the resources available, but for sure we will take it within our activities, especially when we are in the rural areas, because climate change this affected very much rural areas, and also they are the one who needs most this information. Here in Windhoek we are well provided with internet and everything, but if we go to the rural area, access to internet and information, it's still something. We can also think about the radio program. We will put it in there as well.
Yeah.
So we'll try to make as much benefit as possible, and
Absolutely, Ms. Natalie. Thank you so much for making the time to be with us this evening, and congratulations on the book. And of course, you can't wait to see more developments from there. Thank you so much for being with us.
Most welcome. It was a pleasure being here today.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
The director of the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung Foundation in Namibia and Angola, Ms. Natalie Rasman, was with us, of course, talking to us about the recently published book that is called The Namibia Water, Energy, Food Nexus, National Development in Uncertain Times. Of course, a collaborative endeavor with three esteemed authors on this book. Of course, as mentioned, that this book will be distributed in schools, and of course any other platforms, of course, can be also looking at digital platforms also to be released soon. So of course we are still watching the Daily Roundup on your home channel NBC1. We have more content within, of course, looking at health up next. Stay with us.